Okay.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that music as much as I did. We are gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome to the TCS World Travel and Traveling Owls webinar. My name is Shannon Burnett, and I'm the Assistant Director with Alumni Programs in charge of the Traveling Owls portfolio. I'll be here, like always, to answer any RICE or Traveling Owls specific questions, but it is my sincerest hope that you take advantage of TCS and Susan's time and hear about their wonderful trip that they have planned for 2021. I real quick want to go over a few Zoom etiquette before I kick it over to Susan. I will be turning off my video, and I encourage you guys to as well during the presentation. And then afterwards, if you'd like to answer or ask any questions of Susan and her staff, you can take your video off, show your smiling faces, not required. But we do ask that you keep your audio on mute when you are not speaking to cut out any background noise. And Susan's going to give a great and fabulous presentation, and then at the end, we'll open it up for Q&A. But if any questions arise while she's presenting, go ahead and put those in the chat, and I'll monitor that and make sure we loop back around so that we get you an answer. Now I would like to introduce Susan Sagafsky. She's a native of Oregon who still calls the Pacific Northwest home. Susan left the corporate world to pursue her dream of exploring the world and considers herself fortunate to now have her profession mesh with her passion for all things travel. She's led over 45 TCS private jet trips and visited over 90 countries so far. And I believe the trip she's about to explain to y'all is one of her favorites. So I'm going to kick it over to Susan.
Thank you, Shannon, and welcome to the Traveling Owls. TCS World Travel. Actually, the photo that you're seeing here is of the beautiful Milford Sound in New Zealand, and one of the places that we will be visiting. TCS World Travel, we are a Seattle-based company. We've been in the business of luxury jet trips around the world for over 25 years. We operate over 20 itineraries each year. We have, one thing I'm really proud of is 40% of our guests are repeat travelers, and we've operated over 300 unique itineraries. And Shannon was correct, because I'm proud to be here to talk to you about one of my favorites, and that is the wonders of Australia and New Zealand, the land down under. This trip is scheduled to depart September 19th through October 9th, 2021, which is actually spring in the land down under. So be prepared for great weather, be prepared to see a lot of beautiful wildflowers. This is the itinerary of this 21-day trip. We have 10 different destinations. First, and we'll be visiting 4 different states and a territory in Australia. We'll start in New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, and then we travel to another state, Tasmania. Then we'll make our way up to Southern Australia to Adelaide, where we'll have the opportunity to visit the wine region known for their yummy Pinot Gris and Chardonnays. Then we'll head smack dab in the middle of this continent. It's actually, Australia is the 6th largest country in the world, to Tajuta National Park. Then we make our way to the Great Barrier Reef. Then we make our way up to the rainforest, and then onward to New Zealand. First stop there is in Rotorua, right in the middle of the active geothermal part of the country. We go to Hawke's Bay and Napier, which is an amazing and beautiful Art Deco city. You'll have the opportunity to ride in a vintage car as you tour the city. Then down to the South Island, to Queenstown, the adventure and thrill seeker paradise, and then up to New Zealand, and the trip ends in the uber hip Auckland. Well, I know there's a question that you have already, and so I'll answer it straight away. Yes, you'll have the opportunity to see a Tasmanian devil. Yes, you'll have the opportunity to see a wombat. crocodile, kangaroo, wallaby. You'll get to rub your fingers through the really thick fur of a koala. And if you're really lucky, you will have the opportunity to see the kiwi of New Zealand, the nocturnal kiwi, the country animal. I'm going to divide the presentation into 3 parts. First, talk a little bit about the culture that we'll experience and focus on, talk to you a little bit about some of the experiences we have planned for you, and then some luxury aspects and the accommodation. First here is the culture. You'll see this is a greenstone. It's a type of jade that's found only in New Zealand, and it's carved here. The Maori are wonderful carvers. You'll see some wood here, but they carved this greenstone. This is actually representation of a fern unfolding, which is a symbol of New Zealand as well. We'll have the opportunity to look at Aborigine art and visit the Aborigine back in Australia. 2 distinct types of Aborigines, some that live on the ocean near the Great Barrier Reef, and then others central in Uluru. They're known for their interesting art. We'll have an opportunity to walk in the Daintree Forest with them. We'll learn about dream time, which is a basis, kind of a mysterious to the Western mind, but how a lot of their spiritual beliefs are formed. It was an oral tradition, and we'll learn as we tour the Daintree Forest with an elder about how they communicate with each other in the forest. Why the women congregate at the river, and learn about their foods and how they sustain themselves in the forest. We'll learn about their art, and a lot of their art is formed with lines and dots. We'll have actually an Aborigine painting class and learn some of their representation. I just brought a couple of my favorite souvenirs to show you. This is a pod of a baobab tree that the Aborigine take, and they actually carve different graphics. So that's the baobab tree, and you see it, a turtle with their signature dots and lines. This is a larger one and a little bit more abstract. Again, a turtle with a long neck, and then another sea turtle there as well. So we'll have an exposure and an immersion into Aborigine art. Then we make our way to New Zealand, and in Rotorua area, that is really a lot of Maori population of the indigenous population. And I really think it's one of the best examples in the world where the indigenous culture has the opportunity and has a say in the future of the country. They speak Maori, they teach Maori in the school, and the expert that we're going to be traveling with on this journey is Kennedy Warren. He's a former editor of National Geographic New Zealand magazine. He is a Kiwi, a New Zealander. He speaks Maori and is very sensitive and knowledgeable of this culture. Maori are known for their body art, and this gentleman actually told me that this feather was a representation of his mother who had passed away, that she was a gentle person and he always wanted her with him. One thing that I find interesting is there's no negative images in the Maori tattoo in the body art. And we actually get invited into a Maori home. We'll see a haka, and that's kind of like their warrior dance that has been made famous by the New Zealand All Black rugby team. We'll see dance, and it's a really exquisite experience to be invited into this home and learn about the different generations and how they're going forward in the modern day. I also find it interesting that New Zealand has declared that it's going to be the first sustainable country in the world. Some of the experiences here, we're looking at Hawke's Bay in New Zealand, and you'll see lots of sheep there. Apparently there's about 27 million sheep and 4 million people. So it's part of their culture. We start the trip in Sydney. And then we make our way to Tasmania. This is actually Hobart, Tasmania, and it's a very international city. And there we have planned, you can get on the back of a Harley and go do the touring of the country. We have some small planes arranged to take you out to National Park. And we actually have an opportunity to visit the Museum of Modern Art there. It's a new and modern art museum. It was actually formed by David Walsh, who is from Tassie, and it's considered one of the most avant-garde and mind-expanding exhibits of modern art anywhere in the world. So a very exciting place to visit, and we've arranged a private visit, so it'll be just our group there, and we get to have dinner at the museum. We'll make our way to Uluru, and yes, you will have red sand in your shoes. And we'll visit this amazing rock at sunset. And it's one of those indescribable experiences to just see the changing light on this sacred place of the Aborigine. We'll go to the Daintree Rainforest. And while we're there, we're gonna be visiting the botanical ark. So in addition to learning the secrets of the rainforest from the Aborigine elders, we visit the botanical ark. This is actually the man with the passion and the vision for the ark. His name is Alan Carr, and his wife Susie have traveled all over the world, and 2 by 2 brought plants back and have made this incredible garden. So their commitment, their passion is to save plant life that, as well as animal life, is becoming extinct throughout the world. They give us a tour of the garden and talk about the different uses, medicinal and otherwise, of the plants, and then prepare what I'm going to say might be the finest meal you will have ever. And it is mostly from their garden. So that's a real thrill to meet the Carls and step into their passion at the Botanical Ark. This is a cassowary. You don't want to run into these creatures but in the wild, but they are definitely part of the unique, only in Australia and only in New Zealand type of wildlife that we'll be seeing. And of course, we'll be making our way out to Lizard Island, an island which is actually on the Great Barrier Reef. So what an opportunity just to walk off of our own beach and be on the Great Barrier Reef. This is a picture of, you can see the airstrip there. It will be just our group here. And there's Cook's Lookout that you can climb up. You can have this part of the vacation be, or the journey be, as relaxed or as active. It's really fun. You can actually hike up to what they call Cook's Lookout, because that is where Captain James Cook climbed to the top. And so you can see a 360 degree aspect of the Great Barrier Reef. And this is where the Endeavour was damaged, repaired, and he wanted to figure out how to get back to sea safely. And that's why there's a Cooktown in Queensland, Australia, because the great seafarer was actually there. Is actually some colony of turtles there that feed on the seagrass, as well as a marine science center, and it's a field station. So marine biologists come from all over the world for cutting edge research, and so we'll have an opportunity to see and learn about the latest thinking of marine biology. This is the Waikato River in central North, and you have the opportunity to fly fish. So whether you're a novice or experienced fly fisherman, we will have the opportunity to hook you up with a guide and experience some of that world-class fly fishing available only in New Zealand. And also, this is a modern day Maori carving. On one afternoon, we'll take a leisurely boat ride out on Lake Taupo, which is the 4th largest lake in New Zealand. And we see these carvings, and these were done, I understand, in the 70s and the 80s. And if you look to the left, you can see the crocodile on the rocks and the different representations. We can only see this by boat. Then we make our way south, and the first thing we do when we land in Queenstown is we get on a helicopter and we tour the Remarkables. That's actually what the mountain range is called there, the Remarkables. And we stop at a place called Midnight Station, and we have an opportunity to walk on glaciers. We have also a beautiful lunch there. They catch the salmon in their own river, so it couldn't be any fresher, and it's just a really spectacular day over Milford Sound, over Fiordland, because as vast as Australia is, New Zealand is full of microcosms. You can go from the Fiordland to glaciers to wine country, all within about a half-hour drive. So it's really an exquisite land, and the people, I say, are some of the friendliest on the planet. So here the staff is jumping for joy. Why not jump for joy while you're at Midnight Station in the Remarkables? This is actually a photo of Queenstown. That's where we will be based, where we have a lovely hotel right in central Queenstown. So you have an opportunity to peruse the art galleries. We also go out for the day. We go out to a station, a sheep station called Mount Nicholas Station that's 100,000 acres. And this is, we take a vintage steam ship up the lake from Queenstown and just spend the afternoon there, learn about sheep production. And this is actually, if you're familiar with the brand Icebreaker and their fine merino wools, that was the original merino wool company. And this is actually the farm where the Icebreaker merinos are raised. So that's a great day as well. We couldn't be in the South Island, New Zealand without some thrill seeking. So we take a jet boat up the Shotover River. Be prepared to scream, and it's really a fun morning and really a thrilling adventure. Luxury. So this is the scene from Hookah Lodge. This is where we stay in Rotorua. You can see the Waikato River swiftly running by on its way to the Hookah Falls. That is a classic fishing lodge, and we have a buyout, so it'll be just our group there. Again, beautiful hiking right in the area. Kennedy always likes to take folks out to the woods because he has some special, really ancient trees that he likes to show us. And luxury. What could be more luxurious than waking up and having the Sydney Opera House as your to greet you in the morning? This is staying right on Sydney Harbor. And then this is I call this a million-star hotel. This is Longitude 131, and this is out near Uluru. So even out in the outback, we have a beautiful place to stay, and you can sleep outside at night. So they'll set up your bed outside with a fire, and it truly is a beautiful place to see the Southern Cross and the southern constellations without any light obstruction. This is the Henry Jones Art Hotel. Let me back up. We also have a buyout of the Longitude 131, so it'll be just our group in the outback. This is Hobart, Tasmania, and the Henry Jones Art Hotel. And aptly named is actually a former jam factory that has been converted into this very eclectic hotel. And you can see here in this photo, as well as the hallways throughout the hotel are full of local art, both landscapes and different modern art. So that's a wonderful place just to take a wander and get a for the art scene in Hobart. We stay also right on the docks there. So that's a great place to take a wander and explore this very hip city. And this is one of my favorite places. This is accommodation on Lizard Island. So luxury here is defined by location, location, location. You can see the airstrip in the back. And really, if you just walk right out to those, to that area, it's some amazing snorkeling right there. There are also opportunities to go further out on the reef if you'd like, diving, fishing. You can be as kickback or as active as you would like. This is also a buyout, so it'll be just us on Lizard Island. And this is the jet. We'll be, it's a Fokker 70, and we'll be making this journey in the land down under with 45 travelers and then 5 staff. So we'll be traveling with a private chef that will tend to every dietary request that you have. I'll be going on the journey as an expedition leader. We have an assistant who handles the luggage. Our goal is really to take out all of the hassles of travel. So your job and your pleasure is just to enjoy and absorb every stop of the way. We have the same flight deck throughout the trip, and then we also have the same cabin crew throughout the journey, and they become like family, and it's always fun to get back to the jet and share experiences with the cabin crew. We also travel with a physician. They come with a ER profile, as well as Kennedy Warren as an expert in the Land Down Under as well. So it's an all-inclusive trip, including gratuities, including all meals, drinks, and we have the itinerary just jam-packed with wonderful experiences, bespoke experiences, and special meals, and it's just a really fabulous experience in the Land Down Under. So that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to take some questions. Just want to invite you to come travel with us. And we'd love to show you, I would love to show you the Land Down Under, and we'd love to have the jet full of the traveling owls. So thank you so much for your attention. I'm going to switch now to the chat mode and take any questions that you might have. Oops.
There are no questions in the chat, but if anyone would like to take themselves off mute and ask Susan directly, now is the time.
What does it say? Unmute. Okay, great. Hi.
Hi, Roberta.
Yeah. Nice to see you again. I'm here with my mom. So we're very interested in this trip. Tell us who makes up the 45 people traveling? It can't all be Rice people. Is that what you're?
Right. No, it wouldn't necessarily be Rice people. It would be a mix of, like-minded individuals, so to speak.
Okay. So you would draw, are they all from different schools, or it could be from any different sources?
It could be from different sources, yes.
All right. And what is the cost per person, and how many days?
The trip is 21 days, all inclusive, and the trip is $84,950 per person.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Okay. We were curious. Thank you.
Yes, and that's what, my only comment to that is that, yes, it has a price tag, and our travelers tend to believe that it's still really a good value. And that's why we have so many repeat passengers, because it is, with the private jet and the style in which we travel is super efficient, and everything is included. So we believe that, and our travelers believe that it's still a good value.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Thanks for joining today.
So wait a minute. Is there a single supplement on top of that 84,950?
Yeah, it's about 10%. So about $8,500 is the single supplement. All righty. Anything else? Does anybody want to know what it feels like to touch a koala? Anyway, that's it. Well, thank you all for joining. I'll turn it over to you, Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And thank you, Susan, for a wonderful presentation on the wonders of Australia and New Zealand. Very excited about that trip. If any questions pop up after we end this webinar, please feel free to reach out to TCS. Their contact information is on our website. for the Traveling Owls, as well as I always, always, always encourage you to email travelingowls@rice.edu. And if I don't have an immediate answer, I will work with Susan and her team and make sure that we get you one as soon as possible. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. And that's it. Goodbye.
Thank you.